Welcome to Healing Steps to Wellness. I'm Dr. J,
I'm Mei,
your trusted guide to whole person health, one step
and one bite at a time.
at a time. Today is a fun episode. We have special guests today. They're not that special actually. Well, they're our own kids, Eldon and Hannah.
They are special. They are very unique. Yeah.
Unique,
They are
yes,
only products.
that's right. Yeah, the purpose of this one is really looking at every stage of life. We bring different challenges, and we want to start out with when we transited from standard American diet to a healthy diet to adopt the lifestyle medicine principles. And there was a time Eldon and Hannah were in middle school, high school, and we just want to start from how you transit, how you learn from there. That when we started to change our diet, that was the first step of lifestyle medicine, changing our diet. How did you feel? Um, how did you take it and transition yourself from the standard American diet to the whole food plant-based diet?
So this episode is a kind of a reality story for many families that they frequently ask, well, the concept is great, but how do I make changes? Or I have a teenager at home, or I have a young kids at home, or there are so many situations. So I think it would be fun to hear from our children's feedback to see what they think. I hope we have a great conversation that truly inspire people, and a great tip from children probably we never heard before from them, and this will be an eye-opening episode too. But before we start, should we have our two guest speakers here to introduce themselves? First, let's introduce Elden Lai, who is the firstborn. Eldon, would you introduce about yourself?
Yeah, I guess I'm Eldon. I'm like staying one. Um, I don't really know what else to say.
So what is your background, and how and where are you right now, and just like a little bit about you and your interest and your passion.
My education was in computer science, and then most of my work has been like in IT, and then now I'm in Taiwan. Um,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
forgot the other questions.
In
Yeah.
Taiwan, why are you in Taiwan? Just exploring? Uh,
Oh, I'm here finishing up like a gap year basically, as I wanted to do a gap year earlier, but then COVID happened and that made things difficult. So here I am, um,
And you
seeing
are,
family, kind of into like culture here, that kind of thing.
mhm. And actually, even though you're a computer science background, but your true passion is in the area that you
That
really
is
like to pursue. And what is that?
drawing.
Drawing. You're an artist, so um, yeah, you're an artist, so you have a different lens of the view that on many things. So sometimes surprise us. All right. So thank you very much for your short introduction. And now next one is Hannah Lai.
just to be clear, she's number 2.
Yes, she's the number two.
Hi. Well, yeah, I'm the second born. I'm Hannah. I graduated from the University of Minnesota with a bachelor's in nutrition science, and then I did a master's at Ohio University in food science and nutrition. And I was a registered dietitian for a few years, and now I am finishing up the physician assistant program at JMU, and I'm currently in Richmond. That's where I am.
Thank you for sharing that. And then you also in your life, you have two important, very two important how would I say that, companion in your life.
Oh yeah. I have a husband his name is Dom, and then I have a cat. Her name is Sagwa, my
Same.
child.
That's so important because when we're talking about the lifestyle, that's all covered, right? All right. So, Dr. J, do you want to start?
Yeah. So, how did you feel and what did you do when we started to introduce the whole food plant-based concept to our home? Maybe I don't know if we want to do it in public, but describe what you ate while you were growing up until a point we started to get into lifestyle medicine.
Ooh, we ate a lot of beef noodle stew. It's
Oh
from
yeah, that's a
Taiwan.
classic.
It's
But
so
even
good.
that we didn't eat very often. We just don't eat it
Yeah,
anymore now. But
yeah.
um,
Chinese
we had more
sausages. I remember that being a
we had more
thing.
fish, I think, and trying to think of what else. Oh yeah, the oven lasagnas, those are good.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
They
Mom
kind of
and I were just talking that because when you two were growing up, we two were so busy. We would go to Sam's. At that time, there was no Costco. We would go to Sam's to buy the prepared
Frozen lasagna.
frozen, not lasagna, the chicken wings,
Oh, the chicken wings. All kinds of
chicken
flavor.
drumstick,
The lime
and
flavors, the barbecue
also like the
flavor,
frozen dinners. We had some of those
different. Yeah,
sometimes.
a lot of
right,
frozen.
right.
Yeah.
We were
Well, all
busy.
things
We say, "Oh,
considered,
huh?"
all things considered, we even didn't eat those that often. It wasn't like every night like we like thawed something. It was probably like every other, if even, or probably less.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah. But I would
It
say that
wasn't.
even at that time, we still had a lot of veggie, right? Just our diet. Even at that time, we still had a lot of vegetables and fruits.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we
at the
did.
time we still needed to supplement those with like veggies and fruits.
Yeah.
So like it still wasn't it still wasn't the worst. We were still probably like top something percentile. I don't know what it would be. I'd be pulling like a number out of my ass, like 20th or
I say
something.
top 25th. Wait,
Yeah, I would honestly
how does
guess
this
so.
work?
Like I think if you had like consistent TV dinners but threw in like spinach every now and then, I think you'd be like top 25% already.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the
Be
point.
top 50.
Because when Dr. Harmon, who took early retire from Mayo Clinic, came to us and brought in this lifestyle medicine concept, the first thing he told me was, why don't you try yourself by changing your diet? And at that time, Mom and I just like, what do you mean by changing our diet? We're pretty healthy already. And that's my thought at that time. We're pretty healthy. So, but then we started to change diet. So how did you feel at that time that we started to say no beef, no chicken,
No
no
cheese.
fish, no cheese, we had no dairy at that time already. So what did you feel at that time?
I don't think it was a massive change for me at least. I just ate whatever was given and
Yeah, it
I
was kind
didn't
of like
really
eat.
complain.
It was kind of like eat whatever they cooked or else starve, or else like cook ourselves. But I was like too like lazy slash incompetent, so that was rough.
I
So I
think
mean, it wasn't rough in a sense of like I had to eat mom's cooking because like mom already was like good at cooking anyway, so it wasn't bad. It was just like it's only rough in a sense of like there wasn't much like of a choice, but at least the one choice was good, I guess.
So lesson number one to the listeners, especially young listeners, is learn cooking skills.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I did learn how to cook from like an early age just because I was always like conscripted into the kitchen anyway. But um, I mean, there's a difference between like ability and like the will to do it. Those are two very separate things, but eventually, like the will would come later, I think.
Mm.
But
So
allow me to say one thing that I think at that point when we transitioned to the healthy eating, we started to host the complete health improvement program CHIP in a community, and then we hosted that at the Hy-Vee Barlow. At the time, we had a pleasure working with the chef, Eric Worth at that time, and then he took up
special
the
needs.
challenge. Huh?
He was a special needs
He
chef.
was, yeah. So he was wonderful that prepare all the whole food plant-based meal and to accommodate our class as well. So the our Hannah and Eldon were part of the working team. Eldon was a tech support to make sure that all the video played correctly, and Hannah was a serve as the recipe developer. So she helped prepare in some the side dishes, even though chef, prepared the two main dishes for us, but we still come up with something to share with the participant, like a cooking demonstration or a learning curve. So as we conduct the 18 sessions of the CHIP curriculum every single quarter, they were automatically enlisted every single class to be as a working crew. So I kind of interested in knowing that how much information they actually grasp from the video from the class and how that helped them to enhance their knowledge, um, and also along with the some diet change at that point. I think that came together both together. Hannah, do you want to start it?
Most of my memories from helping with Chip is running around. So I got a lot of physical activity for sure, and I think that helped me uh I don't really know. For the content itself, I think it was interesting seeing all the different recipes and people's reactions to them. Um, a lot of times when people are asked to try something new, it's a little hard for them to actually just pick up this new vegetable or fruit and then do something with it. It's a lot easier if you present it to them in a simple way, like, oh, this I made it with garlic or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then introduce it to them, make it a little easier for them to try it. Um, and I think that's probably what I liked about the chip programs. You're really exposing people to different fruits and vegetables, ways of preparation of combining things,
Mm-hmm.
and inspires them to um eat better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you are very creative. You help me search some recipe outside of the chip recipe book. And sometimes I look at some recipe and say, hey, are we sure? But it turned out to be the all-time favorite. So you also help us compile the recipe collection at the end of the commencement. Once the participant graduate from the program, we gave them away as a souvenir. So right now, that recipe has been grown to maybe about 50 collections now. So it's quite a journey. So every time when we look at a recipe book, that it's full of a history. So, Eldon, since you were handling the IT, you were sitting there. Of course, you were eating as well. That always
Yeah.
the. So, what information actually resonate with you a lot and practical?
Um, so like I never really had an interest per se, but I didn't like it's not that I disliked it either. It was just that like most of the time I was kind of checked out. But after watching it maybe like 10 times over, you eventually just like memorize the whole thing. And then it's gotten to the point where I even remind my parents, like, oh yeah, but in the chip videos, they actually say this, like, so they're like deeply ingrained in me, even if I can't like consciously remember. It's just like almost by reflex, I'll just be like, oh, but actually, so it's kind of interesting that way. It's kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde moment where like sometimes I relapse and I start just like spewing a bunch of like lifestyle medicine facts. Like there's just like this like hidden like second persona that's just like completely like nutritarian or something inside of me, and I have no idea when he's gonna come out. Um, but I mean that aside, um, I think the nutrition I took to heart a lot of the nutrition things. Just like small optimizations, like try to kind of like quotas you want to meet. Um, Mostly like eating a variety of like veggies or um, kind of like cutting back on other certain foods. I think the burger one really did something where it's like they showed like people eating a burger and then like their blood afterwards and how it had like the fat even in like the blood vial. And after that it was like, wow, that's crazy. And I wasn't really into it before, but after that it was more like a conscious decision to like avoid, I suppose. Um and then I've already forgotten what I'm trying to answer.
Well,
I also, do you mind if you share your experience when you live during your college time that you stay in a condo with the other three college boys, and in terms
Oh,
of a diet, you will take kind of a I think you have the something. I think it's very valuable for some college
so
young students.
when I was in the dorms, when I was like on campus, I was at Iowa State, which, um, all things considered, had like a really good, um, like dining program. Like they had a lot of variety for food as well as pretty fresh selections. Um, I know some people don't like agree, but if you when I've like listened to like the other dining horror stories from like other friends from like different schools, then it's like, yeah, we actually had it really, really good. Um, but whenever I ate at like the dining hall, for instance, my rule was like I would always start with like a plate of salad. Um, and then after that, uh, I could kind of like go do whatever I want with like the rest of my stomach capacity, which is
Mhm.
still another two plates worth. So I don't think it was a good like proportion, but it was at least it was still not bad. Um, because like it was still like an earnest attempt to like fill the plate of salad. And it also was like usually like light dressing, and then you filled like you make sure you hit all the quotas like mushroom and like
Mhm.
onion and fruit and
Like a G
whatever.
bombs from Dr. Joe Furman.
Yeah, that one's. I wanted to say G-bomb earlier, but it wasn't like strictly chip, but basically G-bomb. Yeah, like I kind of use that as like a kind of like a guideline. And
Guidance.
then um when I moved to the and then when we were at the apartment, then I went to the dining hall less frequently, and then it was basically like it was like noodle soup day in, day out, but it was because I really liked noodle soup and you could throw anything in and call it good. Um, so like I liked like buckwheat noodle for instance, which was it's technically processed, but it's also like one of the better ones, I suppose, compared to like flour noodles, like the white flour noodles. And then,
Mhm.
I mean, you can throw in stuff like seaweed, tofu, um, mushroom, tomato, um, other miscellaneous veggies. It just all goes in the pot. It tastes pretty good. If I'm if I want to celebrate, maybe I'll like toss an egg inside or something. But otherwise, like it was pretty much strictly vegetarian. But um, that's what I did in that's mostly what I did in college, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought like a lot of like fruits and nuts for snacking, and I snacked a ton. So it's like if I'm gonna eat a lot when I'm not supposed to, it might as well be healthy. So it was just like nuts by the truckload. Like it was just like it was like those Costco like tubs of nuts. Um, and then like I would just demolish one in like 3 or 4 days. I would just like eat them like by the handful. I'm just like up all night at the computer, just doing God knows what. But like, I mean, that's what you do as like a college student, I guess.
All right. Well, well, I think the takeaway is from me, I mean, takeaway is that you have the green go down first and then as a priority, and then you pick the other as the secondary until you
Yeah,
eat
that was
full.
important because having the grain kind of like it makes you so that you absorb kind of like the more detrimental stuff less. And then it also just like literally takes up space in the stomach. Um, so
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty good strategy.
Yeah, at that time, as teenager, you probably had a pretty good appetite. I remember you had very good appetite. So greens in first really fill the stomach and reduce the impact of the not as healthy food that you eat later. Yeah,
Hmm.
that was pretty good strategy.
He still has a good appetite now.
Hasn't really changed.
He in general just love food.
It hasn't
Yeah.
changed.
Hmm. And um,
How
so
about Hannah?
yeah, I think Hannah. Yeah, how about Hannah? Hannah
About
love avocado. You are an
my
avocado fan.
college experience or my appetite?
I mean both.
Oh,
They go together.
um, I think in college, my first year of undergrad, I lived in a dorm. Um, and I did like to eat a lot of their salads. I would, they had like this program where you could get like a takeout box and just shove it full of food and then take it to your dorm. It was like this whole cycle. And I would always fill the biggest portion with salad, and then I honestly don't remember what I did with the other portions, probably more fruits and vegetables or whatever. Um, and then for my last 2 years of undergrad, I lived kind of off campus. But because I lived just 90 minutes away from mama and papa, I got a lot of groceries delivered to my apartment sometimes. Um, which was nice, thank you. Um, but I didn't really have much time to cook. My primary goal in undergrad was to graduate early, so I was always taking 20 or more credits each semester, um, from like taking classes at like 8 a.m. or whatever. Um, so I just mostly try to snack on like fruits and vegetables. I didn't cook any meats because I honestly did not know how to. Fun fact, my roommate and I once tried to cook chicken and it burned in the oven so terribly, and our windows did not open in our apartment, so we just kind of gassed ourselves. Um, and the fire alarms went off. So, that was not a great experience. But the one good thing about the University of Minnesota's campus in the Twin Cities is that there's a little monorail that runs straight through campus, so students could go grocery shopping if they wanted to. And then they opened up a small grocery store near my apartment. So I was able to get some fruits and vegetables for like a nice student price, I guess. And also utilize university's food pantry from time to time.
Mm.
If I needed staples like beans.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me. So like I cook mostly vegetarian, partially out of health, but also because it's so much more convenient because like if you don't have like meat waste and stuff, then like your trash doesn't like go foul in a day. And it's like so much easier to clean up. But then also like there are like 2 times in my life where I've made something that was so bad I couldn't eat it. Because like usually I eat my own mistakes and they're still palatable somewhat. But there's one of the only times, um, I distinctly remember it was in college and my mom gave me like frozen beef noodle. And she's like, all I had to do was like heat it back up. But I like kept it on the stove and I didn't know how long to like heat it or cook it. So it was like overcooked already. But I'm like, maybe it just needs to cook longer because like I didn't truly know how bad it could be. Because like I've at that point I've never experienced like true like culinary failure before. So I cooked a lot and I was just like, no, this is actually like completely terrible. So I had to like wait for it to cool, dump it on like a bag and just like toss it in the trash outside. Like it was so bad. I've never felt so bad because like I had to throw away my mom's cooking. But um at that point it's like I don't know how to cook meat. And so I just like never tried again, quite frankly. But yeah, that was like one of the only 2 times. The second one I don't even quite remember, but it must have been pretty bad too if I just couldn't eat it. But I mean I can kind of cook fish, but even then that's very rare. So
One thing you did share with a lot of people about your body could tell you that it's time I want to eat more green, nothing but green. So would you
oh
be
yeah.
able to share that experience with us?
I don't know if it's like a psychological or if it's like truly a physiological thing, but like um I feel like when I eat a lot of like meat or like fried food, then I feel kind of like greasy on like my face, and it just like I just feel kind of sick. And usually, so I like describe myself as like a social omnivore, whereas some people are social drinkers, as in like they drink outside with friends. I feel like I eat meat outside with friends. It feels kind of like a FOMO thing because like I feel like I tell myself I miss meat, but then I eat it. And it's like I could have done without it too. Um, and then there are times where it's just like, okay, I had nothing but like grease bombs for like the past 2 days, and I need something fresh or I will go insane. Um, it's not just like my body. I think it's like mentally. It's just like I can't handle it. Like I need something that's just like fresh on my tongue. And actually, I had this issue in Japan, which is kind of funny because Okinawa is like one of the blue zones, but
Bruce? Yeah.
like but Okinawa and Japan are like different, you know. And then even in Okinawa, like the people the blue zone of Okinawa is like the old like grannies out like in the rural areas. It's not like, you know, the touristy areas. So like most of Japanese food right now is just like fried and stuff, and there's like not a green thing to be found except for like the occasional like decorative garnish. And so like you know, you can only get by eating so much garnish. And at some point, I just had to like run to the market. I'm like, um, I just grabbed like it was like a it was like a box of star fruit and a bag of oranges. And I basically ate I just horked a bunch of fruit like every morning in my hotel. I just like tried to find like the easiest fresh thing I could find that didn't require a knife, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
It
very
was
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it was interesting. I was like, I can't find any source of fiber, and I'm like, am I just gonna get like scurvy on vacation or something? I mean, it would have been long enough, but still, I was just like, I could maybe I could get scurvy if this really kept up long term. It was kind of crazy. So I don't really know how they do it there. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would like to turn to Hannah.
Mm.
So as a registered dietitian and now a PS student, what nutrition and wellness advice would you give to college students?
Don't forget your fiber. And it's not just from salads. You can get it from like canned vegetables. I think when you're working on a budget, don't be scared of frozen or canned foods. Um, they'll be to your advantage because you're busy. You're gonna forget about them. So it's better to just have something that's a little less perishable than buying like a whole tub of greens and then forgetting about it, and then a week later it's all moldy and gross. So definitely, don't be afraid of those. And meal prepping, I know a lot of my classmates enjoy meal prepping and find them very helpful because they'll just spend one day cooking a big batch of something and then they just kind of section it off into 5 meals for the week. And that works primarily if you're okay with eating the same thing every day. I am, but if you're not, then you could probably meal prep with some variations, add different vegetables or something on the side. So I think those are probably my biggest pieces of advice for students.
Mm.
I think,
How we, okay.
I think you can meal prep. Sometimes if you just use different spices, it can give like a whole new flavor, and then that can give you a little more sense of variety. I also remember that in the chip program we had like a lentil stew that was quite popular. And then I shared it with some friends, and I remember one friend in particular, he said that that lentil stew recipe basically dragged him through undergrad as well as his PhD program, because he had like no time, also was like making no money. Um so like he just ate lentils day in, day out. And he was obviously fine eating the same thing as long as it was pretty good. So um he really appreciated that, and I think I would highly recommend the recipe because you can toss it all in a pot and it's extremely economical.
Yeah.
If I wanna guess who that one was, I think he still gets pretty tall, so lentil is still pretty good, nutritious.
No, he's not tall.
Oh, not that one. Okay.
I said PhD.
Ohio?
No.
Okay.
So, yeah, lentil is actually very nutritious, very humble food, but very nutritious. I do want to get into the movement active, that the other component of, in terms of the lifestyle, healthy lifestyle. So let's talk about a movement. So now, Eldon, since you are on the screen, what is the big difference from you shift from US to Taiwan I should say Asia, because you also explore Japan a little bit
And
Um,
Guam.
and
Guam doesn't count. Oh my God, I hate that place.
okay.
Okay,
All right.
but that aside, um, yeah, I walk a lot. It's like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with exercising in other forms, but like, you truly only need steps if you're like, I don't have money, I don't have time. It's like you just walk around, and like with time in a place like this where everything is much closer, um, you end up walking a lot just to like go eat or to go on your commute or um go like shopping. Um so so like the restaurants I frequent, they're pretty close, but they're still like 5 to 10 minutes away. And usually we recommend like walking for 15 minutes after a meal or something. And already walking on the way back is almost hitting the quota for that.
Well, given that
Um,
you do not have a car in Taiwan, and how do you get around from one destination to the other, or to school, or back to your grandparents?
Public transportation. So it's like a combination of like walking and then either bus or the MRT, which is like their subway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes you got to the wrong airport when you did the international trip, and then you had to walk a lot
I
back
was in
to.
Japan like 2 years ago, but I didn't walk back. It was well, okay, it was walking from the the station to the terminal and then back to the station, which I guess is quite a long walk actually, yeah. But
Share with us, what did you see in the morning as a like in a park? In Asia, it's a common practice in Asia.
you just see like you see a ton of old people in the park and they're all just like exercising. I mean, it's not just old people, but it's like largely old people. And um there are a lot of like Tai Chi groups. There are a lot of like kind of like aerobic dance groups. And then there are also like a bunch of like old people who just like go ham on like a tree and they'll just like do like hand thrusts or like kicks on it or just like do other things or like there are also like a lot of playground and like park equipment specifically for exercising and then so like old people also just like crank away on those in the morning they just go sicko mode on those and I mean like you have to give them credit though because like I've seen like people in wheelchairs just like spend the morning like pushing their wheelchairs around on like the track, which is, I mean, like it's crazy, but I guess it shows dedication to how much they believe in like autonomy and like the ability to just like keep yourself mobile.
Yeah, I was very impressed when we visited Taiwan, went to the park with you. And just like you say, I saw more than one person and with walkers, with cane. I remember one, it made an impression on me. What he was not just walking, he was actually dragging one leg. So just like he had a stroke, one leg was not working, and he was dragging one leg. I just wanna walk and um just wanna walk, and it's not just old people. There was a lot of quite young people actually, and I believe I saw one or two Western people. It's obvious because they have blonde hair. They're running there too, and people don't recognize you Americans because you have black hair. But yeah, so it's not uncommon. Yeah, let's exercise a lot.
But beside the exercise, the way how people get together, they have a common purpose is they make new friends or they hang out together to do movement that feel comfortable, also make them feel great. So when we went back to Taiwan in December and joined the group, kind of check out the Tai Chi group in the park where Eldon joined. And we had a chance uh, to have a conversation with them, and they feel they form a group of the people. They are like they develop the sense of a purpose, and they also very welcome the newcomer, and uh, they keep calling Eldon the young handsome guy. So I think that is quite a great experience. Is and really any age will fit into the group as long as they know you, and even you don't even you just kind of stay silent and observe them on the side, but they still come approach you uh, to introduce themselves. So very, very welcoming, friendly people. So lovely. How about Hannah? You normally with your busy life right now, what is your daily practice in terms of the movement, a way that to distress yourself?
I'll say in America, it's a lot more difficult to get that daily activity in because we're such a car-dependent country. You only really get that kind of experience, Eldon's getting if you live inside a city like Chicago or New York or even I guess maybe LA, when you're in a much more densely populated area where things are a lot more walkable. Um, I'll say right now, I mean, I'm living in an apartment that thankfully has a very nice, well-maintained gym. So, um, and a lot of the residents are very respectful of it too. So it's really easy to go in, and I feel comfortable working out every day, um, and taking walks outside daily. It's more difficult when I come back from rotations or days that are more exhausting, or I've had a long day driving and traffic's been especially terrible. There's just that feeling of I really don't want to do anything anymore. So I think building these exercise habits when you're younger, is really important, because then um, it really stays with you during life. But that isn't to say that you can't build new habits later in life. It's just recognizing the need for exercise and the continuity of it, and then sticking with it is the discipline. I've also had the great fortune of being in school again. Um, JMU, my university, when I was in Harrisonburg on campus, they would have free exercise classes for all the students at the gym, and some of my classmates and I would go and do cycle circuit courses every like Tuesday, which was really um in hindsight it was fun, but in the moment it was grueling, but for some reason we kept going back. It was like 30 minutes of cycle and then 30 minutes of hit. Um and although it was incredibly tiring, it was really fun to do with a group of people who were all experiencing the same pain as you.
So they actually they came up with one point about we talk about your social connection. No, there is some hormone serotonin in your brain that from the exercise. That's why people would love to go back to exercise. But just like you mentioned, you have a group of friends. You enjoy that, not just the exercise, it's really a companion. But then on the flip side, we have to go back to Eldon. He's a social carnivore, and he only does that bad diet when he was with his friends.
Well, this is really interesting because I do eat meat outside, but I also a lot of times like if I eat at a restaurant once and I try like their signature dish that happens to be like have meat in it, if I try once, then usually I'm like, okay, I have like the experience logged in my head. Now I can just like eat their vegetarian thing the second time. So I don't like eat meat all the time. But then I think what's really interesting is I've taken a lot of my friends to um like vegetarian or vegan restaurants, and none of them object to it. They're all, I think they generally agree that um, the food is good. And I think one I was like extremely surprised to hear from. He said that if he could buy that like uh that like faux chicken at Costco or something, then he would never use real chicken again. Because it's not just that it was very much like chicken. He thought it was like even better than the chicken. It was like a breaded like kind of like baked chicken or something, like fish. Um, but it was just like we couldn't figure out like how to buy it, and so like I guess it's lady meat. But I mean it's still processed, but if you're gonna compare the two evils, I guess one is like slightly less evil. But I mean, I think it goes to show that like a lot of it comes down to accessibility. But a lot of them are willing to use it as like an intermediary. Like another example would be a lot of times like my friends and I would like host parties, and we would often kind of like do a potluck style where we bring stuff to share. And I always home cooked stuff. I think I think I picked up the habit from my parents preparing for Chip. So I would always have like one or two dishes and just like stuff it in a bag. And I just like have so many bags I have to bring over because I'm also bringing my board games and stuff. And so every time like my trunk is just like loaded with stuff. But I always cook vegetarian, and sometimes I use to fake me, sometimes I don't, and they're always popular. Also like I've heard people say that no one makes friends over salads, but like I know no one else is bringing a salad, so I bring a salad, and then because it's like because it stands out and because I put effort into like making everything fresh, then it's like I don't know. Some people are like it's just a salad, it's just greens. It's like yeah, but like you can still put effort or like not put effort into like chopping greens or like finding good greens, and then finding other stuff to go with the greens, and then so like the salad's good and people usually like it anyway because um everything else is like the same to them, but they haven't had a salad in like God knows how long, honestly. And I know they needed fiber, so it's great.
Wow.
So
Thank you,
actually, that's something very interesting. Like, no, I know some of your friends, especially friends you're growing up with. No, everyone's a
Mhm.
good kid, uh, doing a very good things right now, and you guys are very concerned about environment.
Mm,
However,
A lot, some.
however, the impact of meat, raising those animals, how
mhm,
much impact to the environment doesn't sound to register in their head. So I think that will be the topic we'll discuss next time. And also because Hannah mentioned it's easier to walk if you're in a big city.
mm,
However, there's a lot of air pollution from the cars, a lot of
mhm,
things, the pollutions. And when we talk about lifestyle medicine, we talk about the six healthy pillars, everything, but we don't really talk about toxins, especially from environmental toxins, from the cars, from the animal farming, factory farming,
yeah, factory
the
farming.
animals, all that. We don't have time to talk about that. So I think that will be a good episode for us to dig deeper into that topic.
Another thing is there's, especially when we're talking about the 30 dozen, those are fruit vegetables highly polluted with a lot of pesticide. So, you know, there are some vegetables that are good to eat conventional, but there are some we have to be very careful as now. A lot of chemical has been used and also pollute the water, the fish, way back to decades ago, a few decades ago, not just a decade ago. It is supposed to be, one of the healthy meat choice, as it's very lean and contain omega-3. But right now, the concern is the heavy metal, pollution. So I think when we compare the current lifestyle versus the decades ago with our grandparents' time, it's all different. And so maybe some people will question about why I thought that fish is supposed to be healthy. How come I cannot eat fish? But there are many additional components. I know that we are kind of it is kind of interesting that I don't think that we even get to maybe a quarter of the topic that we plan to have a discussion.
I thought we stuck in a segment one.
But I think that we certainly can come back to continue the rest of the discussion, as you mentioned, the view from the younger generation. Also, I think one thing I learned from them today is they are not vegan or 100% vegan or vegetarian, but I think there are so many people are right now, especially young generation, eating a lot of highly processed food, heavy, very heavy on the meat product. But we can always apply some practical tips. Like you don't need to be 100%, but how can you be your best version and do our best? Okay. So this is the reason that we bring up this is a real talk, real life talk. Um, so I do want to have an opportunity hear from Eldon and Hannah about their definition of healthy lifestyle. What is your definition of a healthy lifestyle? at your current life stage of life? Hannah, you want to
Um,
go? Oh, Eldon, sorry.
uh, I don't. I think I'm doing like okay.
What is the
I mean,
definition of healthy and okay?
healthy. I'm gonna let Hannah go first. I'm gonna
Wow,
steal her answer.
popcorn to Eldon.
Oh my God.
Well,
Because
I think healthy really, the definition is very personal, I feel like. What I would prioritize is um definitely risk reduction for chronic diseases in the future. So, but also just happiness or your perception of your quality of life.
Mhm.
So, if you're happy doing an Ironman every single year, sure, you do that. But if you're happy doing just 30 minutes of walking every single day and you're being really consistent, and you're getting some form of regular physical activity, um, then that's healthy too. And I think that also comes down to dietary choices. Um, of course, I wouldn't say that downing Mountain Dew on the daily is healthy, but just again, risk factors, decreasing the risk for chronic diseases in the future. So if you really need that bubbly carbonated drink, then I guess carbonated waters, doing that, that's healthy to some people it's not. Eating a well-balanced diet to the best of your ability, really. Um, get your fruits, vegetables, your proteins and fibers in.
Mhm. Yeah.
for me, I think it's I think it's being honest with looking at kind of like your current state and being like, is this where I want to be? And then um, if it is, then sure, there's only change. Or like if you want to improve something, then looking at okay, then what can I change? And you're kind of given like a budget of like all of like the vices you're allowed, so to speak. And your genetics might um impact like if you're allowed more or less leeway. But um I think for instance um if you're always tired, then just like looking at like where's the energy going, or like uh is sleep being affected, or um if it's like nutrition, like blood work isn't hitting like the numbers you want, then it's like okay, is there something in my diet that's like causing this, and if so, is it from something I really like, or is it something I can cut out? If it's something I
Mhm.
really like, um then why do I like this food? Is it like the mouthfeel? Is it the taste? Is it just like because I'm always outside with friends and like eating bar food whenever we're done climbing at the gym at like 10 p.m.? I mean, it could be, and then you have to wonder like um instead of that, like can I do something else? Like can I
Mhm.
just bring like my own snack or something, or
Mhm.
can I find something that's just like less egregious on the menu at the time, like
Mhm.
um or if I home cook, then can I replace that mouthfeel but keep the taste
Mhm.
um with something similar, that kind of thing. And um because everyone has a different goal, and like my goal is going to be different from your goal, who's going to be different from like someone else's goal. But I think if I if I can like bemoan like, oh, I'm not doing so well, but then like there's nothing I can do about it. I think I think that just wouldn't be. It would kind of be it would be kind of dishonest, like to myself especially, because I would be living under the pretense that like I was essentially like helpless when there are so many other things that I can do to achieve these goals, or at least try first um, before doing anything else like drastic. But like lifestyle changes are typically, I think they're more uncomfortable at first than anything else. They're usually not expensive. They're usually not like um, not necessarily time consuming unless it's like cooking, but you can kind of get out of that meal prepping. But otherwise, it's usually just uncomfortable at first, I think, just breaking out of like old habits.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Or I think another one is um, knowing what you don't know.
Mm.
Because like um, having the belief that you're already healthy, or having the belief that you're already doing everything you can when maybe there's like a whole other world outside. I think it's like being able to like see the crack in the wall, and just like realize like there's something beyond this, and then like just trying to like explore that and say, oh, like there's this whole community out here that's like trying to like eat healthier in this um largely processed world, I
Mm.
suppose.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So by definition, a lot of people I see, I meet, they tell me that they are very healthy. And someone say, I'm very healthy, I don't take medications. Then when you ask, they are taking like 20 vitamin supplements. Like, so that's everyone has a different definition. So yeah, that's very good that we will deep dig deeper later on. By the way, chocolate goes with everything. So
Okay, um, next time we should have a Hannah and Eldon talking about something really fun, their childhood time,
Oh,
and um,
that counts as
yeah,
fun.
that can incorporate with some, and then also, talking about the family fun. One thing is go out to have a family vacation trip. It doesn't have to be a big trip. And what really stick in your head right now is a good memory. So I think we ran out of time this episode, but we would like to have that topic to be continued next time.
yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
And make sure you prepare your fun photos to share. All right. Well,
Okay.
thank you so much, Hannah and Eldon. If anybody has any question for Hannah and Eldon, where can we find you?
Leave a chat, the comment, and then Elden and I will respond.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us on Healing Step to Wellness. I'm Dr. J,
I'm Mei.
guiding you toward whole person health, one step.
And one bite at a time.
See you next time.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Healing steps to wellness. One step, one bite each day. Healing steps to wellness, guiding you along the way. Body, mind, and spirit, stronger every day. Healing steps to